Hello and welcome to the vlog. If you saw the video where I discussed buying a boat, you may recall that I touched very briefly on, but didn't really give any details of, share boat ownership. This is where you're not buying an entire boat, nor are you renting one, but you buy a proportion of a boat with several other people, and then you get allocated some weeks of the year according to how much of a share of the boat you have. And that's what this vlog is all about. I've come to see a boat that is a share boat and the people who currently have this week's share. This is the boat, a 62-foot, 4-year-old semi-trad. The boat's managed on behalf of the owners by a company called BCBM, and we'll hear more about their role in a minute. But here's the chap we've come to see, Barry, who, along with his family, has the use of the boat this week, and they're going for a little jaunt up to Foxton Locks and back. So the question has to be, why did he get this particular week, and how does it all get shared out if several people own the same boat?
There's a number of systems in operation. The one we use here is called the draw system, okay? Where basically all the owners' names are put into a hat and you get to draw your weeks out. Sometimes they don't suit, so then everybody sits around the table and you can swap with other owners to a time that suits, you know. But in general, everybody seems to get when they want, when more or less they want. There is good, obviously there's winter cruising, there's spring, autumn, summer is the popular one. But obviously, you know, we tend to like the winter, spring and autumn cruising more so than the summer. The canals are less busy and it's easy. But obviously people with children would like summer when children are on holidays. And there is a facility on the boat. There is actually 2 school holiday shares on this boat where people can take their holidays only at the school times to suit their children. So teachers, whatever, can take school holiday shares and it works out quite well as well.
Share ownership is not the same thing as timeshare. With timeshare, you're putting money into a pool and you will be allocated a boat for however many weeks you've paid for, but it's not yours and you might get a different one each time. With shared ownership, you do actually legally own a proportion of a specific boat, so you always know what you're getting.
You obviously, to keep the boat maintained, there has to be payment there, so we put an amount proportionate to each share per month into a sinking fund for the boat. Some of it pays the management, goes towards the payment for the management company to look after the boat. The rest of it goes into any ongoing repairs that need to be done, as well as an amount going into an actual account, which is a savings account, in other words, for getting big jobs done on the boat, like a replacement engine, or a repaint, which would have to be done maybe every 6-7 years. Every year there's an AGM held, usually around October, November. The owners all gather at that. BCBM come in and chair the meeting and take instructions from the owners in what works is to be done on the boat over the year. The boat will go out of the water for probably get blacked and that once a year. Then obviously, because the boat is used so much, because it's on the canals 50 weeks of the year more or less, with between the 4-week shares, the 6-week shares, and then ourselves with the 2-week share. So the boat gets a lot of going, but it's very well maintained, and there's a turnaround done every time the owner comes back. Maintenance people come on and make sure the boat is fully ready for the next owner.
Let's take a look around the boat then, which, as mentioned, is a semi-trad design, which is to say it looks traditional from the side, but in fact the back is an open seating area with the engine under the deck boards. There's no solar, but share boats tend to be cruised a lot by owners rather than just sitting, so the engine will charge the batteries. The standard engine controls are joined by extra buttons for the bow thruster, which helps when manoeuvring. Step inside and there's a clothes locker to starboard, a good place to hang wet jackets. To port, it's the boat's electronics control panel, battery monitor, fuses and so on. This being the popular reverse layout means the galley is the first thing you come to from the back, handy for making emergency cups of tea. And there's all the usual kitchen stuff, fridge, sink, gas hob, lots of storage cupboards, plus an eye-level grill with gas oven under, and a microwave too, for a pasty in a hurry. The modern-day essential of a wine rack is also taken care of. Looking forward from the galley, you see a dinette immediately beyond, a saloon, and in the distance a bathroom. As usual, the Pullman-style dinette seats 4 and can be converted to a double bed for guests. It's raised up so that when the swan hatch is open, you get a great view of the canal outside. And it boasts a very neat trick in that the furthest seat near the saloon can have its back swapped over to point away from the dinette, in other words, giving you an extra 2 saloon seats. Underneath that, an ingenious pull-out footstool adds a touch of lounging luxury. The saloon itself is compact, but with space for 2 captain's chairs and footstools with a TV on the wall. Warmth comes from a stove in the corner. Next to the walk-through bathroom, which has a decent-sized shower, storage cupboards, a trendy modern bowl-style sink, and the loo is hidden behind the door, so you're not staring at it from the saloon or the bedroom. Speaking of which, here's the inline double bed, which as you can see is full size. Peek underneath and you can see the extension to give it that width. Extra heating throughout comes from diesel-fired Webasto radiators. And above, there's loads of cupboards for clothes and knickknacks. It's a jolly nice boat, well fitted out and comfortable. So why then would anyone want to buy just a share rather than the whole thing?
We live in Ireland, so we're travelling over maybe 3-4 times a year. It wouldn't be feasible for us, we're both working, it wouldn't be feasible to have own a boat over here, you know. So hiring has got quite expensive, as we know. So for the initial price of the share and a low monthly maintenance fee, you have more or less relatively cheap boating throughout the year when you want it, you know, which is good. It saves on huge costs on hiring and that sort of stuff. So that's why we've gone this option. Plus, you feel you own a boat and you're part of the whole canal system, you know.
And Barry says there's a certain camaraderie you get from joint ownership.
We're all in email contact. We all know who each owner is, obviously. Usually at the end of the AGM, we sometimes go for a meal. Or for instance, last Sunday, we decided to get the owners together for a polishing day, where we got the boat, washed it completely down, and then applied a coat of polish to it, just to make it look smart, and everybody then feels as well they're contributing something towards the boat. The more you do yourself, the more you will save on maintenance fees, you know. So we tend to, at the AGM when we meet, is to decide what we're going to do ourselves and what we're going to get done by the management company. Obviously, certain things have to be done, like major engine services, that has to be done. Taking out of water for blacking, that has to be done by the professionals, you know. So
this all sounds splendid, but there must be drawbacks.
It's like everything, there's going to be negatives and positives. The positives far outweigh the negatives. The negatives would be maybe an issue that can come in with some syndicates, is that when you board the boat, it may be not as clean as you would have liked it. So everybody has their own standards of cleanliness. Obviously, what we agreed was that everybody would clean the boat themselves, or they can get the marina to do a valet on it and pay for that at the end. And the valet is a certain standard that would be expected of the owners to do themselves, or employ the company to do the valet on the boat. But in general, we have to say it works out quite well. You'll never see eye to eye with everybody, but look, in general it works good, yeah.
If you're tempted by a share boat, and you're watching this video as soon as it's been posted up, or pretty much thereabouts, your timing couldn't be better.
Usually where they launch the boat is at the annual boat share show, which is held in Braunston in April every year, and it's in the weekend after Easter this year. So that's where they will sell any shares in any new boats that they've commissioned, as well as sell shares in existing boats. So it's a good way for people to come and see what's on offer, not only from BCBM, there's other shared companies, Owner Share, Carefree Cruising, they all attend this boat share show, so people can go and have a look and see what's available and what's on the market.
Ultimately, many share owners do go on to buy their own boat outright, in which case the share needs to be sold on.
What you do is you can decide to advertise it yourself. There is a number of internet sites that you can use to sell your share, or you can decide to use the BCBM to market the share for you and sell it. Of course, they will charge a fee for doing that, but you agree that beforehand with them what the fee is. Obviously, they would have people contacting them regularly looking for shares because they have a website where they would mainly advertise. Plus, they have the shows throughout the year. They normally have a show up in Overwater Marina, up in Odlum as well, usually around September, where they market boats as well. So usually shares sell quite quickly. They don't tend to stay on the market too long, particularly in a quality fit out boat. People are anxious to get in to a nice boat. They come and look at it. People sometimes, like buying a house, they will come and look 2 or 3 times before they make the decision, because it is a big decision when you're buying a share, particularly in a newer boat, because you're going to pay slightly more for it. So selling shares is not really a huge issue in the current market.
That's it for this vlog. If you've got any questions, as always, drop them down below. I'll do my best to answer. Barry is also going to be monitoring any questions down below, and he will chip in where he can help as well. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.